Execute pitches. I mean, that's what it's about. Locating the baseball, changing speeds. The stuff that's been going on for 100 years. That's the formula to have success. It doesn't really change, even though the magnitude of the game is bigger. The formula is the exact same.
Other questions for Max? Who's up next? We'll go to Jeff on your right, Max.
How's your finger doing?
Oh, it's good. It's healing for a reason. However, coming back, somehow it was generating a little cut on the thumb. But we'll be even able to address it. I found a good way to use cotton and super glue in a way that provides the layer for that not to get cut as well. So a little arts and crafts in the training room at times, but that's what you got to do.
Fourth row on your right, Max.
What do you enjoy most about pitching on this unique stage in a game like this?
You're pitching for. I mean, this is what you dream of when you're a kid. When you're a kid, you dream of hitting in the World Series, pitching in the World Series. You watch your idols do this in all the big games, and to be able to live out your dream. So for me, for my third World Series, this is crazy to say it's my third World Series, but here I have such another opportunity to live out my dream.
We'll stay right there with Dave.
Max, I think at the time when you had the shoulder strain that it was kind of, quote, unlikely. I think Chris Young said that you'd be back this year. What was it about with you? I mean, you've pitched in the postseason a ton. You've been successful. You won a World Series, but obviously made it a very important thing to you to make sure to get back and pitch in this.
Yeah, I mean, we knew it was a shoulder strain, but we also knew it was, based on how the MRI looked, that this, could be on the better side. It could be on the 4-week side. Do the math from when that happened. I mean, you're looking in the middle of October. Well, that's smack dab in the middle of playoffs. And so, for me, that's good enough motivation to keep everything going. I kept firing. I kept training to keep my body in the best position. So for when my arm came back around, I was going to be good to go. And so, for me, I've gotten a couple starts back up out there. And so, obviously, you need to go out there and pitch well tomorrow.
Last row on your left, Max.
All the way back here, Max. A couple things. You mentioned the 2 starts that you have under your belt. Curious about your comfort level after that. And then second question is about the chemistry of that room that you guys have created and what it's like.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting past the shoulder, hiccup or the strain and, just getting back in the swing of things, getting the bullpens, getting in routines, getting the feel for it, and go out there and try to catch rhythm. They're a good team. I understand, see the challenges they present. It's going to be, a grind to be able to go against them. Absolutely respect every, they're playing great baseball. That's what happens when you get this time of year. You got to execute at such a high level. So, I understand the challenge at hand. As for our clubhouse, yeah, we got a great clubhouse going. We got a great, just guys coming together, playing at the right time, good personalities all fitting together at the right time. So that's what it takes to win baseball sometimes. It's not the, kind of nerd data that's out there. It's kind of how everybody plays as a human.
Standing on the camera, is there in the back?
Hey, Max, just how do you look back on your time playing in Arizona?
This is where I debuted. I mean, this is where I broke into the league and really got to establish. I got to play with some great players at the time. Got to learn from those guys at the beginning of my career, and so it was short. Just that basically year and a half. But fortunate for the opportunity I did get here.
I'm right up front here.
Hey, Max, you've been on the stage before. What did pitching for the Nationals in 2019 teach you about what you need to do to be successful in the World Series?
You got to match the moment. A lot of times, the kind of notion will be out there is kind of like, kind of be subdued because the moment's so big. That's kind of the opposite of how I need to think. You got to. For me, I look at it the opposite way. You got to match the moment. This is a big game. Obviously, you're playing for the World Series. You got to match that, and you got to be aggressive and go out there and attack. From the 19 run, we found out, hey, you can win every game on the road. That is possible, and I've done it twice, so that's pretty cool. Just you're never out of it. You can be. The whole Game 4, Game 5 situation where I had Game 5 with a neck, like here it was Game 5, and we still found a way to come back and win. So you're never out of these things. You got to grind all the way to the end. So, very fortunate for that 2019 run.
Sean, fifth row in the middle.
Max, how do you approach a team like the Diamondbacks that's going to take their singles, small ball, sacrifice bunts, steal bases? What challenge does that present to you as a pitcher?
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple ways that hitters attack pitchers, and this is the kind of the speed aspect, more so than the power. I think with Houston we saw that's a power, you got to be able to handle that. This is much more the speed game, and so it's just like you got to be able to adapt to everything that's going on. We understand what they can do. We know who can steal the bases, who can't, and you got to be very cognizant of that. So it's another baseball game. You got to. It's just the factors in which you have to think about are just a little different.
Gabe, the third row on your left, Max.
Yeah, Max, when you talk about the group you were with here, from Webb to Herron to Johnson and other guys, what did you take from them? And looking back, what was it like being in a young kid in a bunch of veterans like that?
Yeah, it was great to be able to pitch with. I've been so lucky throughout my whole career. I've gotten to pitch with great pitchers, and immediately when I walk into the to my debut with the Diamondbacks, I mean, there's two of the best in the game at the time in terms of Brandon Webb and Dan Herron, and then obviously Randy for his whole career, what he was able to do, and be able to sit there and learn and watch these guys go about their business. I mean, I'm as lucky as there can be to be able to have that be your teammates when you first break into the league. It's a lot of it was kind of the little nuances of the game that you kind of take from. I still remember to this day from Dan and obviously Randy, and how Webby pitched, with his sinker changeup, how that was really effective for him. And so, I actually wish I could go back and circle back with these those guys and actually compare notes now. When you're a rookie, you don't understand everything you can do, but once you get some years under your belt. I feel like the conversations be way different today than they were back then.
Go to Evan, six rows back on your right.
Since you mentioned it, and you are the guy with the context of having been on the teams that win all the road games in the playoffs, what is it about this team? What have you noticed about why you guys have performed so well on the road?
It's not necessarily perform well. I mean, we still can play good baseball at home, but just that nothing's going to phase us. We've seen it throughout. I feel like I've seen it over my time since I've been here on the Rangers, that there's been moments where you just think the team's going to fold over, and it just absolutely snaps back the other way and punches the other guy in the face, and then finds a way to go out there and win a bunch of ball games in a row. That the losing streaks don't stay along for long. So that's just been the team's MO, the way they played, the way they go out there and handle their business, and everybody feeds off that. We know how to handle the situations. We've been there, we've done that, and now we're here at the biggest stage. And it's fun to be at this stage with these guys because of so many different ways that we can win a ball game.
Kenny in the fourth row in the middle.
Max, you've been traded a few times now. What do you remember about your first trade from Arizona to Detroit and the emotions you were feeling from that?
I don't think we need to get into emotions of something that happened 15 years ago, but. That it's your first wake up. It's kind of the second wake up call too. But the business of the game. At any point in time, you can be traded. Especially when you don't have any no trade clause protection. And so, I get it. GMs and the front offices, they're under tremendous amount of pressures to win, and and how they're going to do it and how they construct their rosters. And guys, good players get traded all the time. So it's you don't necessarily take the emotion of the team that traded you away. It's you look at the next team and you say, this team's trading for me, and this is the team that wants me. When you start getting caught up and you try to play they didn't They traded me away. That's just the business of the game. It's more this team, other team wanted you.
Max, now that you had a couple postseason starts, can you give a percentage of how you're feeling?
In terms of what?
100% since you've come back.
Like I can throw a fastball 100%. Yeah, like it's how many pitches I can make in a start. That's the number we don't have nailed down to 100%. I don't know what my finishing pitch count number is actually going to be. I'm still trying to build back up in that regard. But in terms of throwing 100% effort on a pitch, yeah, I can do that.
Jared, the fourth row on the left.
Max, last start it seemed like you favored the curveball more than the slider. Was that more matchup based? Is it a comfort thing with where you are with those pitches coming back?
I think it was more matchup based. Houston does really good. They got a lot of hitters that can do a lot of good things against the slider. So you got to be careful of how you use your slider. Just felt like there was just opportunities for me to use a curveball.
Last question or two, if there's anything. Am I missing anybody? All right, Max, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
How have you seen Max progress from the Game 3 to the Game 7, and what do you expect for tomorrow?
Well, I'll start with it's just getting better and better with him, which is the norm, the command of all his pitches, arm strength. Now, I did go out and get him early, but he's been getting his work in. Took a good bullpen a couple of days ago, so it's just, it takes time sometimes, and each time out, I think it's just getting better.
Other questions? What else we got?
That's a wrap.
Knew he's going to help us out here.
Your thoughts on Pfaadt, first time you saw him, and then what you've seen from him in the playoffs so far? Tomorrow's starter.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, he's pitching very well. That's why they're here. They're throwing the ball very well. The starters and bullpen, and he's got great stuff, movement, command. He's pitching with a lot of confidence. So we know we have our hands full with him, just like last game.
Evan, about 6 rows back at right.
We've asked you this every step of the way. We might as well ask it another stop. This team has played exceptionally well on the road all throughout the playoffs. What have you seen from why this team has been so successful on the road?
Yeah. Evan, that's hard to explain. Both teams have played well on the road. You need to when you're in the postseason. I'll start with that. You got to find a way to win a game on the road, and obviously that last series we did. But you know what? It's always a great sign, I think, that guys are staying focused on the road. Sometimes on the road you do spend more time together. I know you do, and that can bring a team together and just build that that chemistry you love about a club, and that sometimes that happens on the road with the travel and staying at the hotel and coming to the ballpark.
Questions for Boch, Sean?
The Diamondbacks, they'll take their singles, they'll bunt, they'll steal bases. I mean, how difficult is it to game plan for a team that plays that way and can play it pretty well? Yeah,
they play the game well. They do. It's a challenge. They're really good. They're athletic. They're fast. They do little things well. So when you face a team like that, and when you're at this stage, you're playing a really good team. All teams are a little different in their own way. They're built different. We're different than them. Their style of ball is a little different, and it works for them. That's what got them to the World Series. Now it's always up to you to adapt. The way the club is playing against you, and whether it's a running club or a slug team, whatever it is, and that's what we need to do. And that last game, really was a close ball game. We got away from us at the end, but we played well.
Good, Kennedy, 4th row in the middle.
But you guys carried 3 catchers. They're 3 very different players and personalities. How important have all 3 of them been to what you guys have done this postseason?
Yeah, they are different, and they all bring something different. That's the great thing about having more than one set of eyes and ears. They help each other in the meetings when they work out, whether it's doing catching drills, blocking, things like that, going over a game plan. So it's a nice luxury to have 3 catchers, and it's come into play for us, as you saw already. So even with Hedges, if I had to make a move, I can put Mitch there. I'll lose my DH, but it gives you some insurance.
The questions for Boch, right here.
As a manager, what's the best part, or what do you enjoy the most about watching somebody like Max, who's pitched on this stage before, do it in your uniform?
Well, I'll say this. I appreciate the gifts and talents that great players have. I love to get to know them a little bit, what makes them tick, what makes them so good, especially over a long period of time. They're all special in their own way, but it doesn't take you long to figure out why they have been successful. You have to have talent. It starts with that. But in our game, you got to have mental toughness. You got to be able to control your emotions, all those things. But you got to put a lot of work in and a lot of preparation. And he's all of those.
About 5 rows back on your right, Bruce.
Bochy, Torrey was in here a little while ago, and he said it was an honor to be on the same field as you. He said it also meant a lot to him that you knew his name. Just what do you make of the job that he's done with the Diamondbacks this year?
Incredible job. Really. You look at where they were and the year that they've had, not too unlike us. They had their bumps in the road, but you get them back on track, and like I said, they play a great brand of ball, and I think you have to look at him, at that style of baseball that they play. I've had a chance to manage against him for a while, and he's on top of everything. He does everything well. We haven't spent a lot of time together, but in the short time we have, I respect him. I appreciate what he does across the field for his team.
Anything else for Boch? All right, Boch, thanks so much.
Okay.